Welcome to Turkey, a country that has been the crossroads of civilizations for more than 12,000 years, a land where the world's earliest temples rise from prehistoric soil, where ancient empires battled for power, where Byzantium stood for 1,000 years, where the mighty Ottomans ruled 3 continents, and where the modern republic rose from the ashes of war. Today, we dive deep into the complete history of Turkey, from the Stone Age to the powerful nation we know today. Our story begins long before written history. Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, was one of the first places humans settled. At Göbekli Tepe, built around 9600 BC, humans carved giant stone pillars arranged in circles, the earliest known temple complex on Earth. This site predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years and rewrites our understanding of civilization. Neolithic cities like Cappadocia 750 BCE show early urban life, homes packed together, artwork on every wall, and no streets. People here cultivated wheat, raised animals, and developed early society. Anatolia was not just home to farmers, it was the birthplace of civilization. Around 1600 BC, one of the world's earliest great empires emerged, the Hittites. They built their capital at Ephesus, surrounded by massive stone walls and lion-guarded gates. The Hittites were known for ironworking, chariot warfare, legal codes, diplomatic treaties. The Treaty of Kadesh, signed between the Hittites and Egyptians around 1259 BC, is the world's first known peace treaty. Their civilization eventually declined around 1200 BCE during the Bronze Age collapse, but their impact lived on. After the fall of the Hittites, new kingdoms rose. Phrygians, home of King Minos, known for music, craftsmanship, and rich culture. Urartians, builders of fortresses around Lake Van. Lydins, creators of the first coins in history around 600 BCE, revolutionizing trade and economics. Anatolia became a mosaic of cultures and innovations. Persian rule, 547-334 BCE, the Achaemenid Empire brought roads, administration, and imperial systems. Alexander the Great, 334 BCE, his conquests spread Greek culture across Anatolia. Hellenistic kingdom cities like Ephesus, Pergamon, and Sardis became centers of theater, philosophy, and science. Roman Empire, 129 BCE to 330 CE, Rome absorbed Anatolia into its vast empire. It brought roads, aqueducts, baths, and cities that still stand today. Pergamon's libraries, Ephesus's theaters, and Roman bridges shaped the land. In 330 CE, Emperor Constantine transformed Byzantium into Constantinople, the new capital of the Roman Empire. For the next 1,100 years, Constantinople became the richest city in the world, a fortress protected by triple walls, the center of Orthodox Christianity, a hub of art, education, and diplomacy. Monuments like Hagia Sophia, built in 537 CE, stood as a symbol of Byzantine glory. The Byzantines survived countless invasions: Persians, Arabs, Bulgars, Crusaders, and more, but the empire weakened over centuries. By the 15th century, a new rising power surrounded the city, the Ottomans. Before the Ottomans, the Seljuk Turks arrived in the 11th century. Their victory in the Battle of Manzikert 1071 opened the doors of Anatolia to Turkish settlement. Seljuk achievements included Islamic architecture, caravanserais on the Silk Road, madrasas, educational institutions. The rise of Sufi culture, including the poet Rumi, based in Konya. Their empire declined after the Mongol invasions, but they paved the way for future Turkish states. In 1299, a small Turkish principality led by Osman I began to expand. Over the next centuries, the Ottomans grew into a world empire. Major milestones: 1453, the fall of Constantinople. Sultan Mehmed II conquered the city, ending the Byzantine Empire and transforming it into Istanbul. Golden Age, Suleiman the Magnificent, 1520 sampai 1566, under Suleiman. The empire reached its peak, spanning Southeast Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. Powerful navy in the Mediterranean. Flourishing architecture by Mimar Sinan. Justice, arts and sciences at their height for more than 600 years. The Ottoman Empire shaped global politics, trade, and culture. From the 1700s to 1800s, the Ottomans faced wars with Europe, nationalist uprisings, economic difficulties, administrative corruption. The Tanzimat reforms attempted modernization, introducing new schools, new laws, improved governance, but the empire continued to weaken. From the 1700s to 1800s, the Ottomans faced wars with Europe, nationalist uprisings, economic difficulties, administrative corruption. The Tanzimat reforms attempted modernization, introducing new schools, new laws, improved governance, but the empire continued to weaken. But one leader rose to change everything: Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. He led the Turkish national movement against occupying forces from 1919 to 1923. Major victories at Sakarya Dumlop, Nar, In, Unuskured, Turkish freedom. The Treaty of Lausanne, 1923, recognized Turkey's borders, marking a new beginning. On October 29, 1923, Ataturk declared the Republic of Turkey and became its first president. He introduced sweeping reforms, cultural reforms, adoption of the Latin alphabet, dress reforms, removal of the Ottoman Caliphate, reforms, modern schools, universities, scientific institutions, legal and judicial reforms, secular legal system, women's right to vote and hold office, civil equality. Turkey transformed into a modern, secular, industrializing nation. Through the 20th century, Turkey grew into a regional power. Rapid urbanization, infrastructure development role in NATO, strategic importance between Europe and Asia. Cultural and economic expansion. Cities like Ankara, Istanbul, Izmir, and Bursa became major hubs of modern life. Today, Turkey is a strong nation with a diverse economy, a rich cultural heritage, strategic geopolitical influence, tourism, technology, and global trade, a blend of ancient history and modern development. From the ruins of Troy to the skyline of Istanbul, from Göbekli Tepe to high-speed trains, long before empires and armies. Anatolia, today's Turkey, was one of the earliest homes of human civilization. Göbekli Tepe, 9600 BCE, the world's oldest known temple complex. Hunter-gatherers built giant stone pillars decorated with carvings of lions, snakes, and vultures. This site predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years and shows that spirituality existed before farming. Within a few thousand years, sophisticated Neolithic communities like Çatalhöyük emerged. This was a dense streetless city where people entered homes through the roof. Artwork filled the walls, and early agriculture supported around 2000 BC. Small city-states appeared, laying the foundation for one of the oldest great empires. The Hittites, centered in Hattusili. The Hittite Empire expanded across Anatolia and into the Middle East. They pioneered ironworking, advanced laws, chariot-based warfare, international diplomacy. In 1259 BC, they created the world's first recorded peace treaty, the Treaty of Kadesh, with Egypt. Their empire collapsed around 1200 BCE during the Bronze Age collapse, but their innovations shaped later societies. After the Hittites, new powers rose. Phrygians, home of King Midas, known for music and legends. They built fortresses and advanced metalwork. Urartu and Iron Age kingdoms, powerful mountain kingdoms, flourished around eastern Anatolia. Lydians, inventors of money. On 600 BC, the Lydians minted the first coins in history, transforming global trade forever. Persian Empire in 547 BCE. Anatolia was absorbed into the Achaemenid Persian Empire, connecting it to a vast network of roads and imperial administration. This era blended Anatolian, Greek, and Persian cultures. In 334 BC, Alexander the Great swept through Anatolia, defeating the Persians and spreading Greek culture. This created the Hellenistic period. Greek philosophy, theaters, and temples, expanding libraries, scientific advancement. Cities like Ephesus, Pergamon, and Sardis became cultural powerhouses. Pergamon even hosted one of the greatest libraries of the ancient world. Roman Anatolia, 1-9 BCA, 336. Rome brought stability, engineering, and prosperity. Amphitheaters, aqueducts, roads, and baths reshaped the land. The birth of Byzantium, 330 CE, Emperor Constantine made Byzantium the new capital, renaming it Constantinople. Byzantine Empire, 330-1453. For over 1,000 years, Byzantium was a fortress of Christianity, learning, and diplomacy. Its greatest achievement was the Hagia Sophia, built in 537 CE, a masterpiece of Byzantine engineering. Despite centuries of invasions and conflicts, Constantinople stood firm, protected by the legendary Theodosian walls. Until 1453. Turkish tribes began migrating into Anatolia in the 11th century. Their decisive victory at the Battle of Manzikert 1071 against the Byzantines opened the region to Turkish settlement. The Seljuk Sultanate of Rum, based in Konya, built beautiful turquoise mosques, caravanserais along the Silk Road, centers of art, science, and Sufi mysticism. This era saw the rise of great figures such as Rumi, the beloved Sufi poet. In 1299, a small frontier principality led by Osman I grew unexpectedly powerful. Within a century, the Ottomans expanded across Anatolia and the Balkans. Under sultans like Orhan, Murad I, and Bazidai, they defeated rival kingdoms and steadily approached Constantinople. The turning point came with Mehmed II, who, at age 21, conquered Constantinople in 1453, ending the Byzantine Empire and marking the rise of a global power. Once Constantinople became Istanbul, the Ottomans entered centuries of prosperity. Under Suleiman the Magnificent, 1522-1566, the empire expanded from Hungary to Arabia to North Africa. Ottoman navy controlled the Mediterranean. Architect Mimar Sinan built iconic mosques, palaces, and bridges. Arts, mathematics, astronomy, and literature flourished. Ottoman society became a multicultural empire of Turks, Arabs, Greeks, Armenians, Kurds, Jews, and many others living under one imperial system by the 1600s and 1700s. However, internal struggles and European competition weakened the empire. Tanzimat reforms introduced new laws, modern schools, and new rights, but the empire struggled to keep pace with Europe. World War I, 1914 to 1918, the Ottoman Empire sided with Germany and Austria-Hungary. Despite victories like Gallipoli, the empire collapsed at war's end. Occupation of Anatolia-allied powers divided Ottoman lands. Istanbul and Smyrna were occupied. Rise of Mustafa Kemal Ataturk led the Turkish War of Independence. 1919 to 1923, defeating occupying forces and uniting the nation. On October 29, 1923, Ataturk declared the Republic of Turkey. He led sweeping reforms, cultural and social changes, adoption of Latin alphabet, women's voting rights, secular legal system, dress and educational reforms, economic and infrastructure, growth, new universities, industrialization, expansion of cities like Ankara and Istanbul, Turkey. Today, Turkey is a regional power, a bridge between Europe and Asia, a major economic, cultural, and geopolitical force, a country blending ancient heritage with future development from Göbekli Tepe's prehistoric stones to Istanbul's modern skyline. Turkey is a land where history never stops evolving. Victory came with the Treaty of Lausanne, recognizing Turkey's modern borders.